President Ho Chí Minh was known as a prolific writer, gaining recognition as a UNESCO culture figure, but few have attempted to get to know the human side of this great leader. However, all this has changed following the publication of Dr. Nguyễn Đại Trang, a lecturer at the University of Toronto's 15 Years Masterpiece. After 15 years studying the life of Ho Chí Minh, Dr. Nguyễn published her Ho Chí Minh, The Heart and Mind of a Patriot. Trang focused on the late president's early years, his parents, brother and sister, and the historical background that had motivated him to go abroad to seek ways to save the nation. She also delved into the late president's views on such issues as equality among peoples and gender equality. Trang said, the book was her way of expressing her great respect for the man. It is about her love for the nation and her desire to return to her origins, and it calls for greater unity amongst the Vietnamese people.
Hello there, you're watching Talk Vietnam. Dr. Nguyễn Đại Trang is an overseas Vietnamese living in Canada. She has become the first overseas Vietnamese to have written and also published abroad a book about late President Ho Chí Minh. Now, it's our honor to have her in our studio today for her to talk about her journey in coming to write the book and also her efforts in bridging her home country here in Vietnam and also her current host country, Canada. Thank you very much, Dr. Nguyễn Đại Trang, for coming to our studio today.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you. So let's start now with your book. The book is entitled Ho Chí Minh, The Heart and Mind of a Patriot. Can you tell us a little bit about the idea behind this title?
I truly believe that Ho Chí Minh was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, patriot of Vietnam. And the approach that I use in researching this great leader is to look at him from the human perspective. And I came to realize that most books in the West, as I could see in Canada, do not have a human perspective on Ho Chí Minh. And I believe that if we only look at Ho Chí Minh in terms of his talent, his achievement, his success, without looking at his heart, then we do not have a comprehensive, complete understanding of this great leader of the country of Vietnam. And therefore, I decided to do research on his early years, about his family, his parents, his brother and sister, and also to research on the state of Vietnam at the time that he was born, how Vietnam was invaded by the French, and how the Vietnamese was suffering from the harsh conditions under colonial rule. Then we can understand the passion that he had for his people, and how he left the country in search for a way to save his people.
So how long did it take for you to compile this research and also write this book?
It took me about 15 years to study theories, economic theories, political theories, and I combined with other disciplines such as sociology, cultural studies, gender studies, and I could always find the relevance of these studies with the Ho Chí Minh thought. And for the last 6 months, the time that I actually wrote the book was about 6 months.
6 months.
Yes, and I wrote the English version first.
Right.
And then after that, I translated into Vietnamese myself.
Now, you talked about how Ho Chi Minh, his human side, has a very particular interest for you in learning about his ideas about equality and other stuff among the same lines. So for you, on a personal level, what was it in his figure, in his personal life that interested you or impressed you the most?
Well, what impressed me the most, and it has impressed me for a very long time, was his passion, his determination, his strong conviction for justice, for equality, and just to help the most disadvantaged people in this world. He would do whatever it takes to just to help his people to gain independence, to have freedom. And I believe that what touched me the most would be his statement that he had a wish, a burning wish, that all Vietnamese would have enough to eat, would have enough clothes, and has the opportunities to study and to be happy. And to me, this was a very noble purpose of his life, and it is still relevant today.
So now you talked about your research. Can you tell us a little bit about how many books you had to go through? I mean, you obviously spent, you said, 15 years doing this. Tell us a little bit about this process.
Well, for the 15 years that I studied and researched on different disciplines, I could not count how many books. I would say thousands. But for specifically for materials on Ho Chi Minh, I would say I consulted more than 100 books, plus many other journal articles about him. And I borrowed from the library of the University of Toronto about 60 books on Ho Chi Minh. And I actually had an accident when I carried these books home. I was very enthusiastic after I compiled the
60 books.
Yes, and I had an accident. I hit my head on the shelf, and it was quite an accident. I had a bump actually, and it was very memorable.
In terms of coming here to Vietnam, you mentioned that you had to read a lot of books back in Toronto, but did you go to Vietnam to collect any materials?
Yes, definitely. I read about Ho Chi Minh when I was a little girl, growing up in Vietnam, and also since I came back to work in Vietnam in 1996, every time I went back to Vietnam, I always went to bookstores and again bought many books and took them home. I consulted a lot of books on Ho Chi Minh written in Vietnam. I also talked to many researchers in Vietnam about their perspectives on Ho Chi Minh, just about anything that I could learn from them about Ho Chi Minh. So over time, I accumulated a lot of books and a lot of comments from many researchers on Ho Chi Minh from both sides.
Right. In terms of coming here to Vietnam, I mean, a lot of kind of great places associated with Ho Chi Minh, like the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum here in Hanoi, and also his hometown back in Nghệ An. Were you able to visit some of those places?
Oh yes, I have visited the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum a few times in the 1990s, and also recently. I went to his homeland in Nghệ An province in 2000 when I did a research there for 3 months.
What were some of your kind of impressions?
I learned how simple a person he was, a very simple person with great passion and determination. And you really have to see the place that he lived and the houses he lived in, and also you would have to see all the difficulties that he had to overcome and the achievements that he was able to make in his lifetime, to see that he was a great leader of Vietnam.
We'll go to a clip now. After being published in Canada and also receiving a warm reception from the Vietnamese community and also locals living in Canada, the book Ho Chi Minh, The Heart and Mind of a Patriot by Dr. Dai Chang has just been published for Vietnamese audiences, and we'll have a look at the launching ceremony.
Dai Chang published Ho Chi Minh, The Heart and Mind of a Patriot back in May 2010 to mark the 120th birthday of the late president. 3 months later in Hanoi, she launched the Vietnamese edition of her book. Among the first readers of her book were 2 Vietnamese diplomats who have known her since their time stationed in Canada.
Cuốn sách của Đại Trang là một trong những cái thể hiện cái tình cảm là một cái rất là có ý nghĩa, bởi vì là theo tôi hiểu thì Trang là một nữ tác giả của cái thế hệ trẻ như các đại biểu vừa nói, cũng là có lẽ là duy nhất ở nước ngoài viết về bác và đánh giá về bác với những cái góc nhìn khác nhau. Tức là bác là một vĩ nhân thì rất nhiều người viết rồi, nhưng mà bác là một con người, là đánh giá về cái tâm và cái tài của bác, và nhìn nhận từ một con người của cái thế hệ sinh sau, không phải trải qua cuộc chiến tranh và lại sống ở nước ngoài rất lâu, và cũng nhận được những cái đào tạo và giáo dục của phương Tây, và lại vẫn có một cái tâm huyết với đất nước, thì tôi nghĩ là cái đó là một cái rất có ý nghĩa.
Với cách tiếp cận mới đó thì Đại Trang đã làm cho cái hình ảnh của bác nó không chỉ là gần gũi với nhân dân Việt Nam mà gần gũi với con người nói chung, và cái gần gũi của bác đối với con người thể hiện trong cái quyển sách của Đại Trang đó, có thể nó thấy bác là không chỉ bác thực sự là một vĩ nhân, bác thực sự là một vĩ nhân văn hóa mà UNESCO người ta đã công nhận. Cái thành tựu cái này nó làm thêm một cái tiếng chuông nữa, một cái tiếng nói nữa, thấy rõ rằng là Hồ Chí Minh thực sự là một con người vĩ đại, không chỉ vĩ đại của dân tộc ta mà cũng là một con người vĩ đại của nhân loại. Bởi vì thực sự cái tâm của bác là cái tâm cho tất cả những con người trên thế đất, chứ không chỉ dân tộc Việt Nam.